On Monday, Kaori Fujimiya says no to being friends with Yuki Heisei. Yuki feels sad. His friend Shogo Kiryu tells him to ask Kaori why they can't be friends. Yuki tries, but Kaori pretends to be sick and avoids him. On Tuesday, Yuki sits with Kaori on the rooftop and she says she can't have any friends. Yuki doesn't give up and suggests having lunch the next day as acquaintances. On Wednesday, Yuki is late because of a math meeting. Kaori waits for him and they talk about friends. On Thursday, Kaori shows Yuki a crockery flyer but says they aren't friends. They discuss friendship. On Friday, Kaori tearfully tells Yuki that she forgets people every Monday. Yuki is confused. On Saturday, Yuki asks Shogo for advice and he says to pursue Kaori. On Monday, Yuki talks to Kaori in class. She looks indifferent, showing she forgot him. Yuki believes Kaori wants a friend but hides behind pretending not to remember. He asks her to be friends again. Kaori says no to Yuki's request, making him feel sad. But with Shogo's support, Yuki doesn't give up. The next day, Yuki surprises Kaori on the rooftop and shares their past lunches, making Kaori happy. The day after, Yuki suggests Kaori keep a diary to remember their time together, and she starts writing about Yuki's good and bad qualities. On Friday, Kaori gives Yuki a crate flyer and they plan to go after school. But the crockery is closed, so they go to karaoke instead, having a fun Sunday. They discuss meeting on Monday as they go home. Kaori, teary-eyed, gets off at her stop, asking Yuki to tell her about today on Monday. That night, Kaori puts a notice on her door to remind her of their friendship and asks Yuki to read her diary. On Monday, Kaori meets Yuki on the roof, trying to remember him with the diary. Yuki apologizes for causing her pain by wanting her to remember him. Kaori writes about Yuki's flaws, but also acknowledges his kindness, considering him a wonderful person. Yuki asks Kaori to be his friend, and the cycle repeats. Kaori starts making lunches for Yuki and notes down what he likes to eat. Later, Yuki suggests bringing in Shogo to get an outside perspective on her secret. The next day, Shogo joins them for lunch, and his tough attitude makes Kaori a little scared. But as Yuki explains Kaori's memory loss, Shogo starts to understand and shares theories, even though he's doubtful. This creates a small disagreement between Shogo and Yuki when Yuki defends Kaori. The day after school, Kaori forgets her diary under her desk and is afraid to get it because of mean comments from two girls. Shogo gets the diary for Kaori and tells her that people won't understand her if she doesn't speak up. The next Monday, Yuki chases after Kaori when she leaves class upset about a math problem that reminded her of the eggs she made for lunch the week before. Shogo follows them, and since Kaori remembers him like her family, he thinks she doesn't consider them friends and believes her story. Yuki is more hopeful than ever about Kaori's progress. A rumor starts going around that Kaori and Shogo are friends. Yuki feels a bit jealous and upsets Kaori by asking her to stop talking about Shogo. But his words hurt Kaori more than he thought, and they have their first fight. Kaori leaves school early that Friday. She accidentally loses her diary at the river, and Yuki goes to Shogo for comfort. Kaori gets a cold and forgets about her diary reminder on the door when she returns home. On Tuesday, Kaori comes back to school, and Yuki tries to apologize, but she doesn't remember him or the diary. Yuki feels sad and asks Shogo for advice. Shogo encourages Yuki to find Kaori's lost diary. Shogo talks to Kaori and helps her realize that her memories are missing. The next day, Kaori goes to the river and sees Yuki searching for the thing she forgot. Yuki eventually finds the diary, and Kaori understands it was the important thing she lost. They make up, and their cycle starts again. Saki Yamagishi talks to Kaori on the roof and wants to be friends. Kaori explains her no-talking rule, but doesn't say no to being friends. The next day, Saki forgets the rule and tries to talk to Kaori. Yuki thinks Saki is bold and tells Kaori to be her friend. Kaori tells Saki about her memory problem. Saki understands and says they can still be friends without worrying too much. They become friends officially. On Friday after school, Saki invites Kaori on a friendly date, doing things Kaori always wanted to do with a friend. Yuki is jealous and brings Shogo to watch. At the end of the day, Saki tells Kaori about overcoming bullying with the help of friends, making Kaori cry and appreciate their true friendship. On Monday, Kaori forgets Saki, but when Saki reminds her, Kaori starts to remember their time together. They enjoy talking, especially when joined by Saki's friends, Maiko Sarazawa and A. Nishimura. Finally, Kaori smiles at Yuki, and it seems like some memories are coming back. Yuki's teacher, Jun Inu, punishes the class by sharing test answers because they failed a math test. Yuki needs help with math, so he asks Kaori. She happily agrees, and they, along with Shogo and Saki, go to Kaori's house to study. At Kaori's house, they meet her cheerful mom, Shio Fujimiya. They start working, but Yuki and Saki are slow. They take a break when Kaori struggles to talk to Shogo because he seems intimidating. Yuki and Saki try to help them become friends. In the end, Shogo and Kaori consider each other friends since they hang out together. The next day, Shio asks Yuki to meet her at the park after school. She explains Kaori's mental condition. Kaori was in a car accident and forgot her friend's memories after it, even though she has no brain damage. Yuki passes his test the next day and talks to Kaori in class for the first time, making her happy. Yuki decides to keep being Kaori's friend as the weeks go by, seeing her smile. During gem class, Maiko and I ask Kaori about her relationship with Yuki and think they're a cute couple. Since they haven't spent much time together lately, Yuki asks Kaori to help him study for the final math exam and wants them to be alone. While studying after school, Yuki talks to Kaori about why she likes math and accidentally calls her cute. Saki interrupts with an announcement, and Yuki helps her put it up. When Maiko and I take Saki away, Kaori says "ah," confusing both her and Yuki. As summer break approaches, Yuki worries about not seeing Kaori as much and is hesitant to talk to her about it. Shogo convinces him to ask Kaori to meet up during the break and pushes Yuki to overcome his hesitation. Yuki eventually asks Kaori to make plans, and she assumed they would still see each other. When summer break starts on Monday, Yuki and Kaori forget to plan where to meet and end up on the school roof. To their surprise, Kaori starts remembering exactly who Yuki is. During the summer, Kaori invites Yuki to go to the beach with Saki and Shogo. Sadly, when they reach the beach the next morning, the weather gets bad. They try to do beach activities, but the weather makes them go to an arcade. Yuki tries and fails at the crane game, and they take pictures in a photo booth. When the weather gets better around noon, Shogo and Kaori go to buy lunch together, making Yuki a bit sad. Shogo asks Kaori about her feelings for Yuki, and Saki teases Yuki about his feelings for Kaori. Kaori tells Shogo she feels strange when Yuki talks to other girls. Later, as the day turns to evening, Shogo suggests Yuki should try harder to show his feelings to Kaori. Yuki and Kaori take a walk on the beach and have a sweet moment. As the day ends, the friends watch fireworks. Kaori remembers the day but has trouble explaining her new feelings. Meanwhile, a teenager and his family move back into the city. On the very last day of summer break, Yuki, Kaori, Shogo, and Saki meet at Kaori's house to finish their homework. Throughout the day, Shio talks about how Yuki's friendship has helped Kaori, and Shogo reminds Yuki of the importance of supporting Kaori through her condition. Later, Saki leaves without finishing her homework, and Shogo gives her his completed answers, sparking a memory from their elementary school days. After Yuki finishes his assignments, he asks Kaori about her improving memories, and she credits their friendship for the positive changes. The second semester starts the next day, and the teacher, Inu, changes the class seating. Kaori and Yuki end up sitting next to each other. Inu introduces a new student named Hajime Kujo, who sits next to Kaori and calls her a traitor for breaking their promise. This causes Kaori to collapse from stress, and when she wakes up in the nurse's office, her memories of Yuki are reset once again. On Monday, Yuki feels upset because the progress he made with Kaori is gone after Hajime shows up. Hajime talks about their elementary school days and his dislike for Kaori. The next day, during lunch, Yuki cries because he realizes the Kaori he was friends with isn't the same anymore. In the afternoon, Saki notices something odd in Kaori and Yuki's behavior and wants to help them. The following day, Kaori talks to Yuki about feeling strangely nostalgic around Hajime, and Yuki shares a bit about their past. After school, Kaori meets Hajime and two old friends at the crockery. She doesn't remember Hajime, and painful memories make her run away. Yuki arrives, gets frustrated with Hajime, and decides to tell him about Kaori's condition. Hajime doesn't believe it and questions Yuki and Kaori's friendship. At the same time, Saki talks to Kaori at the river and says Yuki is an important friend to her. Finally, Yuki declares his friendship with Kaori and decides to become her friend all over again from the start. As winter approaches, Yuki is slowly getting closer to Kaori. Meanwhile, Saki avoids Shogo after their previous talk. One afternoon, Maiko and Ai decide to take Kaori home. Yuki asks Hajime about what happened on the previous Friday at the crappery and decides to go to a restaurant with him to meet Oda and Yamasato. There, Yuki learns about Hajime and Kaori's past popularity and study sessions in elementary school, reminding him of his current relationship with her. Ota and Yamasato explain that Kaori was bullied by classmates, led by her so-called friend Shigehara Naomi, who envied Kaori's relationship with Hajime. This led Kaori to run away in tears and get hit by a car, causing her memory loss. Kaori overhears this conversation and cries, and Hajime blames himself for her condition. The next Monday, Kaori tells Yuki that she feels relieved to know the truth. However, Yuki confides in Shogo about his fear of unintentionally hurting Kaori, so he starts keeping some distance from her. One evening, Kaori asks Shogo why Yuki is avoiding her. Shogo's explanation, meant to prevent hurting her, ironically makes her feel more hurt. The next day, Shogo talks to Saki and learns she was avoiding him, thinking he was mad at her. He apologizes to clear things up. After school, Shogo warns Yuki that everyone noticed the tension between him and Kaori. As winter break starts, Yuki unexpectedly meets Kaori at the bridge and they decide to take a stroll together. During their walk, Kaori remembers how Yuki changed her life and they buy crepes together. Later, they try to part ways, but Yuki decides to walk Kaori home, ending up at an old Shinto shrine. While paying respects, Kaori tearfully expresses her desire to be even closer friends with Yuki despite his avoidance. Realizing he's hurting Kaori, Yuki confesses he feels the same. As the new year and the school term start, Yuki values the memories with his friends and looks forward to creating new ones. Finally, one morning, Yuki asks Kaori to be friends and she agrees. Yuki starts keeping a diary, wondering about what Kaori writes in hers.